What's going on, everybody? Welcome to GmiasWorld podcast. So right now we're going to be talking about Marcus Peters is being traded to the Rams. It's not official yet. It has to wait until the actual league year begins, but it's already been done. And I'm going to give you guys my opinion based on the trade and how I think the Rams are going to be better after this trade. Now, let me just first say this. What they've gotten for him is a joke. A 4th-round pick and a 2nd-round pick is an outright joke. And it just lets you know that they were fed up with Marcus Peters' behavior overall and the things that he was doing. Now, if you listen to my recaps, I've been doing recaps for a while. And the one thing that I try to stress, as much as, you know, we have a lot of emotions and anger and we want to win, everybody wants to win, bro, but you can't do certain things. And Marcus Peters has been he's been a hothead for a very long time. Now, the one thing I will tell you is this. I remember watching the game when he threw the flag into the stands, the ref's flag into the stands. When he did that, I knew he was gone, and people were making fun of me. If you guys go back to my actual podcast, a lot of you guys were laughing like, yeah, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. They'll never trade him. He's so talented. For the last 3 seasons, this man has forced 24 turnovers, you know, interceptions. Marcus Peters is an unbelievable talent, but he's very unprofessional. And you guys can make a lot of arguments. I'm not here to argue with, you know, the whole thing about, you know, if the talent outweighs, you know, the whole behavior situation. That's not what it's about. Andy Reid is not that kind of dude. He's like he's a passive type of coach. He's not that kind of guy. He's not like a Mike Tomlin that's going to get in your face and probably argue and all that kind of stuff like that. He's not trying to argue. You guys are grown men. If you don't want to do it my way, you're getting traded. That's why I knew that he was going to be gone, simply because of it's the actual mannerisms and the personality of Andy Reid. If you go back to the whole situation with like Mike Vick and you remember with Donovan McNabb and all the stuff that was going on when everything was happening with the Eagles. If you remember when things started to get crazy, T.O. and all that stuff, he's like, yo, bro, all right, yo, keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to get rid of you. He's not going to argue with these guys, as he shouldn't. These are grown men, bro. And Marcus Peters, as great as he is, he could have been better. I just told you this man forced probably the most turnovers in the cornerback position in the last 3 seasons. He probably could have been better if he applied himself to do that. But you can't behave in such an immature manner. Listen, bro, I'm going to tell you this right now, right? If I'm a head coach, and I've coached, the highest I've coached, probably, you know, a little bit above high school to some, you know, some college, whatever like that. That's the highest I've coached. The one thing I tell you, the kids that I had, you know, the kind of rapport with as a coach, they still talk to me. They still text me today. The one thing that I instilled into these players, even young, you know, you got young kids, inner city, you know, single parent homes, no parents at home, a grandmother raising them, aunt, whatever like that. You instill respect for yourself and respect for your behavior. That doesn't mean that if somebody, Marcus Peters has an issue on the field and somebody pushes him in the back or punches him in the back of the head or pulls like a Grunk play. Remember that Grunk play when Grunk thought he was in the WWE after the guy was already down after the interception and he jumped on him with his elbow? I would understand retaliation with that. But Marcus Peters is outright doing whatever he wants, bro. You know what I'm saying? I understand he's not failing drug tests. I understand he's not pulling Aaron Hernandez's and stuff like that. I understand all that. But at the same time, you have to handle yourself professionally, bro. And I like this guy. That's what, look, I really like this guy, and I know that the Chief fans are very, very, very angry with this trade, as they should be. But at some point, right, you know what it is? Even when somebody's doing wild things, it's sort of like, you know, you have that other guy. What's the guy from the Browns? Josh Gordon or whatever his name is? He's doing drugs and doing all kinds of stuff, and people are like, yo, why do they keep giving him chances? All that kind of stuff like that. That, in my opinion, you know, actual addiction off the field is different than the behavior like this that's like right on the field, because you can do something about this. You know, with different addictions, people don't really understand addiction until you go through addiction. So I can't really talk, you know, because it's so many sides of that coin. But this behavior is completely unacceptable, what Marcus Peters has been doing. He's been so disrespectful of his coaching staff and himself over the last 3 years. And like I said, talent-wise, you couldn't give me a better corner. With every corner in the league right now, I'm not saying I wouldn't take Marcus Peters number one. No, I wouldn't take him number one. I ain't gonna go that far. I'll take a couple before him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would probably even take Patrick Peterson before him. You know what I'm saying? An older guy, but a more veteran, a more respectable guy. Guy's going to make plays. A guy that's not targeted much. A guy that, you know, speaks like, you know, he has some respect for himself and carries himself accordingly. Absolutely. Okay, Richard Sherman. No, I don't know about Richard Sherman. I wouldn't take Richard Sherman. When we're just talking about the corners, I wouldn't take Xavier Rhodes either, because the road ain't closed. Like, the road is definitely open. Cornerback. Who else is? I don't really know. Like, he got to be like top 3 though. You know what I'm saying? The only person I know right now I would take before him, I would probably even take Lattimore before him. And, you know, Lattimore coming off that great rookie season, I would probably take Marshawn Lattimore over this guy, because at least I'm not seeing the same things with him. I'm not seeing that blatant disrespect. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like, he's like Richard Sherman enhanced times 3. But you could understand why Richard Sherman is so upset with Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks staff. They gave up a Super Bowl to the Patriots for the dumbest play in Super Bowl history. So I could understand Richard Sherman's outright. Well, I can't say I understand it. It's still no place for it. You still got to go out there and play. But there's a means to his ridiculousness that he's doing. Marcus Peters is outright going out there and just being a complete idiot on a regular basis. And this cannot happen. So as bad as it looks right now for the Chiefs, it is as bad as it looks. They got basically a mop bucket and a squingy, in the words of Shannon Sharp. Like, they got nothing for him, because nobody is going to probably amount to the talent that he was. But what happens is, you show the locker room, look, you're either with us or you're against us. When you make plays like that, and this goes out to all the younger players that are really, really good. You're in high school, you're going to college, whatever you're doing right now, at the end of the day, you got to have respect for yourself and your teammates, because your teammates see the way you act. And just because you're ridiculously talented doesn't mean you have to be like this. Michael Jordan was a savage. He went to casinos. He did all that stuff like that. When he was on the court, he was there to handle business. He ain't there doing all the stuff with refs, throwing flat, you know, going wild, whatever. Every now and again, you're going to get a technical. LeBron James, these great players, Kobe Bryant, all the stuff like that. But they're not going to just blatantly be wild on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand something. There's referees, there's players, there's coaches. You got to know what your part is in that puzzle, and you have to make it work. He's been more, even, and remember, if the Chiefs would have beaten, I believe, the Titans, right? Because I think that it was Darrelle Revis that batted the ball back to Mariota in the playoffs. If the Chiefs win that game and they go further in the playoffs, maybe Marcus Peters is not traded. But what happens is, you know, I know that you can say Kelsey got hurt, all that stuff that happened. Tennessee still scored a lot of points that game. Not to say that they were doing Marcus Peters dirty, but when you lose, it kind of makes you look at everything that's going on. And it's like, all right, that guy, you know, he's been acting like a real idiot lately. You know, we got to do something about this. It kind of shows everything. The more you win, you can kind of hide stuff that's going on. But losing really makes people start pointing the finger. And that's what happened here. Because honestly, it's just a guy like, look, you know what? We lost to the Tennessee Titans. I don't know what happened. You know, Kelsey got hurt, but we had a big lead in the first half. What was Marcus Peters doing? Oh, you know, I don't think anybody really abused him, but he's been acting like an idiot the entire year. All right, let's get rid of that guy. That's how it happens with like corporate-wise. They start to look and see, like, look, how can we shake things up? This definitely shakes everything up. And for the Rams now, the Rams should be up there as Super Bowl favorites. Because if you look at the Rams offensively, they can score with anybody. Defensively, they had a couple of, you know, a lot of issues going on with it. Now, they couldn't stop anybody when it came down to it. Marcus Peters, if he's able to control himself and play his role, he will be unbelievable for this team. He will make the Rams so much better. If he's able to calm down with the BS and just do what he's supposed to do, he will make the Rams, you know, I think they have a shot to go further in the playoffs. Because I don't think the Patriots are going to be what they once were after this recent loss. I think the Patriots they've lost a lot of their luster, in my opinion. Because the feud that's going on with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, the feud, like, it doesn't breed good things. When you're arguing with the people that you prepare to go to war with, it doesn't breed, like, success. So one of those guys have to go. And we know Tom Brady ain't going anywhere. As long as there's dissension in the ranks like that, I don't really like what's happening with the Patriots. And that's why I can't really say that they are a major threat because of that. Tom Brady's still going to be great, but that stuff wears you down. The locker room and all the stuff that's going, that wears you down. All the stuff with the Malcolm Butler, you don't know what really happened. I don't really know. But with the NFC, though, the Rams look really, really good. If they keep a lot of their pieces intact, add Marcus Peters, keep their explosive offense, they look really good. So I'm going to need these LA Ram fans to check in on this podcast and let me know what you're thinking. But that's what I think. I think that this is a huge, unbelievable trade as far as it goes for the Rams. I think that, the Chiefs got robbed with this trade, but I think that Marcus Peters deserved a fresh start someplace else to see if he can up his maturity. I want to thank you guys and girls for listening to this GmiasWorld podcast. I want you guys to know it's available on iTunes and Android and on YouTube right here. Until next time, one love.